Welcome back to Sports Fans Only. I'm your host, KJ, the sports guru, and we're back. And this is a little bit different than normal. Normally, you guys would see me talk about all different types of sports topics, maybe a documentary, a docuseries, or something like that. But we're about to push this new movement, which is the Sports Fans Only Baseball Frenzy. So that's going to be me, my co-host, Tommy Casuto. He's not here right now. He's going to join us at the end of the month. And Big Gary, he's out there in Arizona. He's also going to join us. These are two childhood friends. Both played baseball. Incredible baseball players. Tommy went on to play at the University of New Haven. But before that, he played at Norwalk High School. Brian McMahon is my school. That's our arch rival. So, coming up in baseball, where I grew up at, he pretty much knew all the talented players. So I heard of him. He's heard of me. We knew how great each other were. So same with Gary. Gary was a 15-year-old prodigy. He was throwing like 88, 90 miles per hour at the age of 14, 15, something like that. 6'6", 220-something pounds. We'll get into why he didn't further his career. I'll let him tell you that. That's not for me to say. So anyway, those two will be joining us at the end of the month. But until then, I didn't want to wait. I was excited. I hope you liked our new intro. We put a lot of work into that. And as you can see, things are starting to get a little more professional around here. Little stuff under our faces, little nameplates, lower thirds, little special effects and stuff like that. So that's for your viewing pleasure. We don't want to keep it the same forever, so we want to switch things up. So anyway, like I said, this is the Sports Fans Only Baseball Frenzy. And first thing we're going to get into is a little baseball free agency. Now, since we're up here in New York for today, just for time's sake, we're going to stick with the New York Mets and the New York Yankees. We're up here in the tri-state area. Most of the people watching are Yankee fans or Mets fans. So we're going to stick with that today. Maybe next time we'll go throughout all the free agency and stuff like that throughout the league. But for today, we're going to go with the New York Mets and the New York Yankees. Now, starting off, before we get into free agency, I just wanted to mention, I don't know if you guys heard, Pete Alonso, the New York Mets first baseman, he had an accident today. Was that today or yesterday? I think it was today. Yeah, it was today. And so a car ran through a red light. Now, check this. His wife was riding behind him. And I don't know where they were driving to. I think he was getting ready for spring training. And they were headed wherever they were headed. His wife's behind him in her car. And he's in his truck, a big truck, like one of those F-150 trucks. Something like that. You see the pictures right here. Yeah, so he was driving and a car ran the red light and hit him in that big ass truck. And this car made that truck flip over 4 times. Now, I don't know what speed that car was going, but it had to have been going at least a good 70, 80 to make that big ass truck flip over like that. So anyway, after it happened, his wife jumps out of the car, starts directing traffic, starts getting people over there to help. She was corralling the dogs. The dogs were going crazy by all accounts. And she really kept her cool and kept it together and actually helped him. He pulled a He-Man and kicked the front window out, if I'm not mistaken. Kicked the front window out and got himself out. He has no scratches, no bruises, no strains, no broken bones, anything like that. So he reported to spring training today. So he's off and he's good right now. So I want to give a big shout out to Pete Alonso. Hope everything's well. Hope you don't find anything later on. You know how sometimes you might get into a car accident and your back starts hurting like later on, days later. I'm sure he got checked out by the best doctors. But yeah, I just wanted to give that news before I got into the free agency. So with that being said, let's kick off this Sports Fans Only Baseball Frenzy. Starting off with the Mets. Now, everybody know the Mets and Steve Cohen. We knew the Mets were going to make a lot of moves, right? So they didn't disappoint. So, of course, they got rid of some of the old players. Javi Baez ended up going to Detroit. He signed a 6-year deal, $140 million. I'm so glad we didn't sign him. I much rather Eduardo Escobar, who we did get, and we signed him, let's see here, 2 years, $20 million. Now, the great thing about Escobar is he can play second base, he can play third base, he can also play shortstop if he had to. Let's look at his stats from 2021. He had 549 at bats. He had a 253 batting average. He also hit 28 home runs, had 90 RBIs, 1 stolen base. His OPS was 786. So he's a versatile player. He has some power. Definitely hits a lot of RBIs, drives in a lot of runs, shall I say. And his average is about what a major league average should be, about 253. I can take that from my second baseman. Now, don't forget, they also have Jeff McNeil. He's still on the team. Now, I don't know how they're going to platoon him, J.D. Davis. You have Lindor. Don't forget, you still have Francisco Lindor. So we'll see how they all. Now, they're also talking about possibly getting Antonio Freeman. And I hope I'm not too late. I hope that didn't break while I'm doing the show. I'm sitting here looking at the tracker right here. Yeah, so there's talks about maybe getting him too and putting Pete Alonso at the DH. Thank God for the DH. That was such an unfair advantage for American League teams for such a long time. I never understood why they didn't bring that to the National League a long time ago. So that's just going to make the New York Mets that much better. You can always just plug Pete Alonso with the DH. You still got Dominic Smith. You can put him at the DH. J.D. Davis, because he's a horrible third baseman. So we got a lot of options there. So moving along, we had, now, of course, Max Scherzer. I call him Max Schwarzenegger. So now you have Max Schwarzenegger and you have Jacob deGrom. And we all know his name is the DeGrominator. So now you have the DeGrominator and Max Schwarzenegger. Little play on Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminator. But I think that's what that 1-2 punch is going to bring to the Mets. And then they also went ahead and they got that new kid from Oakland as well. What's his name? Pardon me for 1 second. His name is, I wanted to get it right. I didn't. Chris Bassett. He was an all-star last year. He went 12-4. What a great third pitcher to have. Now, we lost Noah Syndergaard. He's gone. He went to the Anaheim Angels. He went there on a 1-year, $21 million deal. I guess he wasn't willing to stay with the Mets on a lower deal because we weren't going to give him that much. So he went ahead and went out there to Oakland. But getting this kid back from Oakland, Bassett, we traded away 2 players. I forget their names. Forgive me for that. But we traded away 2 players, 2 insignificant players for him. It looks like Oakland's on like a fire sale right now. Doesn't it seem like every, 4 or 5 years they do this? It must suck so bad to be an Oakland A's fan. It really would. So also, not only did we get him, we got Starling Marte. Now, that was a trade, what I just mentioned, but that was to shore up the starting rotation. But we also got Starling Marte. He comes over from Oakland, plays center field. Now, check these stats out. And this is and the most thing I'm excited about, it's not the average. It's not the RBIs, although they're good. He had a 310 average at 457 at bats, 12 home runs, 55 RBIs, and this is what I'm excited about. He had 47 stolen bases. The New York Mets were absolutely horrendous last year, stealing bases, just absolutely atrocious. So to get a guy who had 47 stolen bases himself, that's just going to help the entire team, and his OPS was 841. Moving along, Marcus Stroman left. He left the New York Mets, went to the Chicago Cubs. He had a 3-year deal, $71 million. Mark Khanna. Now, he's an interesting guy. He comes from Texas. No, I'm sorry. He also comes from Oakland. Like I said, the fire sale. He got signed for 2 years, $26 million. And he plays left field, but he can also play right field. Very versatile player. He has a lot of pop in his bat. For a left fielder, not for a left fielder, but this is exactly what we need as well. Let's see. His average isn't that great. He had 231, but he gave you 61 RBIs and 17 home runs. In previous seasons with Oakland, he hit 273, 26 home runs, 58 RBIs, and he also hit 249, 52 RBIs, 17 home runs. You're pretty much replacing Michael Conforto. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be with us this year. So you're basically replacing his output with Mark Khanna. I think that's how you pronounce his name, Mark Khanna. Moving along, let's see. Darius Familia went to Philadelphia. How dare you? You're a bastard. I hate when your team goes to the rival team and they end up doing good. That happens all the time to the Mets. It's so annoying. But that was basically the nooks and crannies of the New York Mets free agency so far. So we had Starling Marte, Max Scherzer, Mark Khanna, and Eduardo Escobar. Now, I'm pretty sure the Mets are also going to shore up that bullpen because a few of their bullpen people left. Aaron Loup is gone. Brad Hand is gone. Rich Hill is gone. They acquired Adam Ottavino. I didn't realize that. Just saw that. Got him from Boston. He comes in on a one-year deal, $4 million. So that will definitely help out the bullpen. So it looks like they're already in the works of straightening that all out. Now we're going to head over to the New York Yankees. Now, for whatever reason, the New York Yankees haven't been too active in free agency. Now, they just got a deal done yesterday. It was either yesterday or the day before. They got rid of Gary Sanchez and they got rid of Urshela. They got rid of both of those players and they brought in Josh Donaldson. Now, he definitely helps out the defense because we all know the Yankees defense was terrible last year. So they shored up third base, got some pop. He batted .247 last year, 457 at bats, 26 home runs, 72 RBIs, had an .827 OPS. Now, he's going to shore up your defense. He's definitely going to give you some pop in the lineup, which you really didn't need, but never hurts to have too much pop in your lineup. And he brings a lot of veteran leadership. That's one thing the Yankees were missing. They didn't have that guy in the locker room or that guy on the field who was going to get in the other team's face and give you a little nastiness. Every once in a while, you need a little nastiness. And I think that's what Josh Donaldson he brings to the table. A great third baseman. He's a great third baseman. Remember, he was an MVP. He was a past MVP when he was with Toronto. He was a beast when he was with Toronto. I'm trying to figure out why he keeps hopping from team to team because he's a good player. I don't know if it's the locker room thing or what, because people saying he's a good locker room guy. So I don't know what it could be, but he's a good player. But the thing about this is now you better sign Anthony Rizzo, because if you don't sign Anthony Rizzo, you just brought in another right-handed bat. You're going to run into the same problems you had last year with having a right side heavy lineup, which is never good in the major leagues because there's so many lefties now. You don't want that. I mean, I'm sorry. You don't ever want to have your righties up against right-hand pitchers all the time. You want to have some type of versatility in your lineup. So having all righties going up against a bunch of right-handed pitchers is a disadvantage at the major league level. You won't see that down in like high school and stuff like that. When you get to the major leagues, you better have some left-hand bats in there to face those right-hand pitchers, especially when they're throwing as hard as they are today. So they're back to that right-handed sided lineup, right-handed heavy lineup. And I just don't know what the difference between this year and last year is as far as the lineup is concerned. You know what I mean? They still have the same pieces. I think they're going to have the same problems. Their offense is going to struggle. If they're not hitting home runs, they're not going to score, basically. And they haven't really addressed their pitching problem. I mean, I think they also, let me scroll down here. They got another player, and I never even heard this guy's name before. Let's see here. I think is it a Chinese guy? His last name starts with an I. Let me see if I can get his name. Here we go. Let's see here. His name is, and of course I can't see it. So here are the players at the Yankees? Yeah, it is it. So it was Josh Donaldson. Oh, Josh Donaldson wasn't a free agent. He was through trade. So Andrew Heaney, he went from New York Yankees to the Dodgers. Corey Kluber went from the Yankees to Tampa Bay. Joely Rodriguez went from the Yankees. Oh, he re-signed with the Yankees, a one-year deal, $2 million. Clint Frazier is gone. He went to Chicago Cubs. Phillip Evans, he came over from Pittsburgh. He's a minor leaguer. Ronald Guzman, another minor leaguer. That's really it, guys. The Yankees have done nothing else. They traded for Donaldson. Excuse me, I said he was a free agent acquisition. He was actually in a trade. So they got rid of Sanchez and Urshela. They brought in Donaldson. So he pretty much replaces their output. That's all they've done so far. So I think the Yankees are in for a long, long season. They're going to have their stretches where they're hot, but they're going to have those stretches where they're super cold. I think that the outcome for that team is the exact same thing it was last year, which is possibly a playing game, maybe a first-round series, but you're going to lose. You don't have those playoff-type pitchers that can shut people down like the Mets do. It brings me great joy that the Yankees are now in the position the Mets have been in for the last 25, 30 years. I mean, it brings me great joy to see it flip. Hal Steinbrenner is not going to spend a lot of money. He's not going to do with Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen is the new George Steinbrenner. Just a fact of life you're going to have to accept. Steve Cohen is the new George Steinbrenner. And you guys are left with a man who more resembles the Wilpons. So good luck with that. That's coming straight from a Mets fan with great joy and jolly jingles going off in his brain. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. So going into a season where the Yankees are probably going to, and that's the greatest thing, they're going to give you hope, but they're going to let you down. See, with the Mets now, this is a whole new territory. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that I'm excited. I can't wait for the season to start. I'll be with you all year long until September, October. Tommy's going to come on. Gary's going to come on. We're going to have a great time. I hope you enjoyed this first segment. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more. We're going to go to baseball games. We're going to record our whole event when we go to the baseball game, stuff like that. So we're going to have a good time. It's not going to just be sitting in here talking to you guys. We're going to take you on a little adventure throughout the season. So I hope you guys stay with us. Definitely stay tuned because we're going to have some great shows. It's going to come on once a week, either Monday or Tuesday. I haven't decided yet, but when it does, we will let you guys know. So anyway, this is KJ the Guru, KJ the Sports Guru, and this is Sports Fans Only Baseball Frenzy. I got to get used to saying that. I'm going to do it again. This is KJ the Sports Guru, and this is Sports Fans Only Baseball Frenzy. We'll be back next week. Hope to see you. Peace.